This is my October TBR, where I'm going to talk about all of the books that I'm planning on reading or hoping to read in October. As I say every single month, I am a massive mood reader, so some of these books may not happen. I may swap them out for other things. I may get into a massive reading slump again. So we'll see how well October goes. In terms of having the time to read, I always like to talk about that a little bit. I'm not sure how much time I'm going to have. One bit of solid reading time that I know that I'm going to have is when I travel for a work trip. So I have to spend, I think, 4 hours each way on the train. And that's a good solid chunk of reading time. So if I can read for the entire thing, I think I can absolutely like read 2 books, and then I'll also be at the hotel by myself, so I'll have the evenings to read as well for 2 nights. So I think that's probably looking like a good chunk of reading time. I also realised I look really pale. It's partly the window, but it's partly because I am. Winter has basically kicked in here in the UK, so now I am white as a sheet again. Let me see, can I adjust this a little bit? Otherwise I'm gonna be like glowing at you. No. That's the lowest it'll go. Let's put you back almost where you were. So yeah, I've got lots of good reading plans, I think, for October. I'm hoping to have the time to do a few reading vlogs. I'm hoping to do a witchy reading vlog in which I read witch books, and a haunted house reading vlog, and possibly a vampire reading vlog, but those would take me a couple of weeks each, so I'm not promising anything, but that's very exciting. And then I also have a bunch of like serious plans and horror reading plans, because I just love planning for the spooky Halloween season with my reading. I don't always get to them, but I always like to try. Something else that is happening in October actually is the 24-hour readathon that happens every October and every April. So I'm hoping to do a 24-hour readathon. I don't think I've got anything happening that weekend, but I will need to double check, because it starts at 1 p.m. Saturday to 1 p.m. Sunday UK time. So it's like a good chunk of the weekend. So yeah, we'll see. So let me talk about the massive pile of books that I have next to me. It's taller than I am sitting down, but obviously it's on a desk, so there are only, I don't know, 12 books. It's not too many. Considering I've only been reading like 5 or 6 each month at the moment because of work stresses, I think this may be a bit much for me. I'm going to try my best. Someone has added 2 books to this pile when they shouldn't have been there, so these don't have to count. So this pile actually looks a lot better than it did just then. Okay, so what do we want to start with? I think let's start with like the heavy hitter, which is Oathbringer. So every time a Stormlight book comes out, I try to catch up and read the ones that I haven't yet read. That tends to not happen for me. So I finally read Words of Radiance, I think last year, and then I read the short story in between, or the novelette, whatever we're calling it. So now it's time to read Oathbringer. I need to read this month, because then I can read Rhythm of War next month, and then I will be all caught up in time for the 5th book. I'm not too bothered if I can't quite get to it. I'm not going to be super upset, but I would really like to try and get on the hype. So I do have a massive book to read in October. This is only part 1. In the UK, the paperbacks are split into 2 because they are so chunky. So part 1 is 600 pages, and I imagine part 2 is similar. I don't know, I haven't decided yet if I want to like marathon this or if I want to split it up into bite-sized pieces. That latter method doesn't tend to work for me. Yeah, I think I'm probably more likely to try and read a chunk of this at the weekend and then carry on with it. So I'm determined to read Oathbringer. Sort of determined. I will be more determined when the time comes. Another chunky fantasy book that I would really like to read is part of a series that I have started earlier this year, and I think I started it in January, and I said that I really wanted to keep up the momentum and read the entire series in this year, but I haven't really done that so far. So I picked up the 2nd book, and that is Providence of Fire. This is the 2nd book in the Chronicle of the Unhewn Throne. I found this hardback in a charity shop, and yeah, really looking forward to it. I enjoyed the first one a lot. I really liked the concepts and the characters, so I'm looking forward to giving this one a go. It's another chunky one, but I think it's probably mostly to do with the spacing, although it's 600 pages. So this is the first in a trilogy, and then also there is a spin-off book as well, and I'm hoping to really like this and carry on with it, so I'm going to get to that. I would also really like to read Murder at Spindle Manor. This is a self-published murder mystery fantasy book. It won the SPIFFO prize last year. It sounds really good. It's really short, but that's partly because it's such a tall book as well. So this won't take me long at all. This might be a really good one for the 24-hour readathon. So yeah, all I know about this one is like it's a murder mystery in a country house, so looking forward to that. I do have a couple of books that I would really like to finish because I've been in the middle of them for ages. So the first one is The Tyranny of Faith. This is the 2nd book in the Empire of the Wolf trilogy, which has ended now, but this is another one that I started right at the beginning of the year, another series, and I just haven't carried on with it, so now is the time. I'm currently listening to this on audio when I drive to work. And I think I'm roughly 100 pages in. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm just having a quick flick through. Okay, I'm further than I thought. I'm about 160 pages in, so that's really good. I'm making good progress on this. I'm hoping to finish this in October because it won't be when I'm recording this in September. And then another one that I'm loving is The Blighted Stars, but I keep putting it down and I don't really know why. I think it's just I keep getting distracted. So I'm currently 60 pages into this one and it's so easy to read. This is a sci-fi book, like a space adventure. So the main characters were on a ship that has crash landed on a planet which is quite hostile, and one of the characters doesn't actually know who the other is. Really looking forward to carrying on with this one. I am loving it so far, and the trilogy is now over now, so I'm hoping to marathon this as soon as I'm in the mood for it. For my witchy vlog, one of the books that I've picked up as a potential is The Invocations. This is about 3 or 4 witches, I think. I don't really know anything about it. There's like a murder mystery, I think. Someone wants to bring their sister back from the dead. It says that all 3 of them are entwined and they must track down a brutal supernatural killer. Sounds like it's going to be a little bit darker than some witchy books are, because I've got a couple of lighter ones as well in mind, but I'm thinking I might start reading those in September. I like to have like a mixture of horror thrillers and lighter reads. Speaking of lighter reads, I'm thinking Killers of a Certain Age could be quite a light one. I think this is about old people who are maybe serial killers or like assassins. They're assassins. There are 4 old women who are assassins. They have been for 40 years. It says they're attacked during an all expenses paid trip to mark their retirement. They realise they've been marked for death by the top level members of the museum. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. I think it'll be quite humorous and something that I could enjoy. I'm not great with humour in books sometimes. It very much depends on the author. So yeah, looking forward to seeing where I fall with this one. But I thought this one might be a good one to read if I'm in the mood for something a bit lighter. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, I think, to light is Life After Life. You can't really see this because of the brightness of the window. But I picked this one up because it's been on my shelf for ages and I really want to work on my TBR shelf. And I was just kind of really feeling reading this one. And I keep seeing Kate Atkinson's books in the charity shops and I'm thinking if I enjoy this one I can pick up more quite easily. So it says here that a baby is born during a snowstorm and dies before she can take her first breath. And then I think in like an alternate universe, the same baby is born and then lives. I'm not sure it's like Groundhog Day. I think it's actually like living life again and again. And I really enjoy stories like that. So I'm looking forward to reading this one. It's one that I've seen all over for years. It's won like several awards and I really want to know what all the hype is about. So because it's like my kind of trope, my favourite trope then, or favourite like subject, I guess, I thought I would give it a go in October because it's also a chunky one and why not. One that I'm considering reading because I did a 5-star predictions video I think at the beginning of the year and I've only read one of them and that was a DNF. So I'm thinking maybe I can do a 5-star reading vlog in October or November. I feel like this is being really ambitious and I fully recognise that, but I'm going to try. Where I read the 5-star predictions, hopefully love them, and if I don't I'm going to question my choices. But the one that I've chosen to start with is Fireborn because it's about dragons, it's YA, should be super fast paced and so many people have told me that they've loved this, so I'm thinking I will too. I did start it, I made it like 10 pages in and then I realised I wasn't in the mood for fantasy, so I am hoping that I'm going to love this one again. It's a 5-star prediction, I don't see why I wouldn't love it. Another book for a project that I'm doing that I'm not going to mention yet just in case is Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna. This will be the like 5th Kristen Hanna book that I've read so far. I don't know what this one is about. It's one of her less well-known ones, but I do really love her writing, so I'm hoping I love this one. I have such high hopes for this. So I'm hoping to read this one and it's going to be fast-paced because I always read her books really quickly, so I think I can manage it with this one. And then just 2 more potential reads. I've actually got a couple more than I read. 2 more physical reads. I have Dead of Winter by Darcy Coates because I've been loving Darcy Coates' books this year. And this is the next one that I feel like reading, and because winter, like I said, has now hit in the UK, I feel like this will be a good one to read. And it's like a thriller, so spooky season. It says here that there's a tour group in the Rocky Mountains, the tour guide goes missing, but not only that, he is discovered with his severed head impaled on a tree outside the cabin. So the main character is isolated in a storm with 8 total strangers, and this sounds like something that I would love, so I kind of want to read it now, even though it's not October yet. So if you see this in my September wrap-up, don't be shocked. And then the last physical book that I have with me that I want to read, obviously I have a few with me, is Leech, and this is one that Robin got for me for I think my birthday or Christmas, which I really appreciate, and I'm so sorry I haven't read it yet. Yeah, it's for my birthday like 2 years ago. I think we all understand TBR books are sometimes better off just sitting there and brewing for a little bit. And that's what happened with this one. So this is a horror book and I really want to read it this month. I think it sounds really creepy and it also looks really good against this one. If I put it on Instagram, it will look really nice for my followers. And then finally, I just wanted to mention a couple of books that I have reserved from the library, which I'm hoping will be ready soon. So I have the new TJ Klune book. I have a feeling that's not going to be ready until probably November because it's so popular. I've also got The Examiner by Janice Hallett, which is her latest like mystery multimedia book. Cannot wait to get that one. That one's actually waiting for me at the library, so I'm thinking I'm going to go and get it today. And then I've also got Queen Bee at the library as well that I need to go and pick up. And that's the prequel to Her Majesty's Royal Coven, which I have marathoned recently and really enjoyed. Yeah, I've got some good stuff coming up and I'm really excited for October, and I just hope that work doesn't stress me out so that I can focus on reading, do things that I love, and also focus on Booktube as well, because I really miss making 3 videos a week. I don't think I'm going to get back up to that anytime soon. I do really enjoy it. And what tends to get to me is work, and then I record the videos, but when work knackers me out, I just don't have the energy to edit them. And unfortunately, I'm not rich enough to pay for someone to edit these. Even though I'm sure they wouldn't charge very much because I'm not asking for something like really high end. Anyway, that's a ramble. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know if you've read any of these in the comments below. Let me know what you're reading in October, and I'll speak to you in the next video. Bye.